Good morning, class. Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Yes. Can you hear my screen? Sorry. Can you hear my voice and see my screen properly? Yes. Walaikum assalam then. Walaikum assalam, Mema, Sana, Hafiz. Yes. Okay, beta. Let's start our lesson today. This is our lecture number 25. Chapter is classifying plants and animals. Yes, all of you are ready. Please open your books on page number 152. Please open your books on page number 152 and keep your copies with you, copies and stationery. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, let's start with our lesson. This is lecture number 25, classifying plants and animals. We have learned in the last class on Monday about how different kinds of animals and plants can be classified into groups and subgroups based on a number of observable characteristics. We have also learned the definition of prokaryotes, protoctista, and fungi. We have seen the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay, I will again repeat it and we will discuss it again in detail once we will finish this explanation today. We have also learned that the animals are classified into vertebrates and invertebrates, which are further grouped into different subgroups. Today, we are going to learn about the definition of vertebrates and invertebrates, characters of subgroups of vertebrates, and also will learn about warm and cold-blooded animals. I believe that you people have already learned something about in your class 4 and 5, something about vertebrates and invertebrates. Can anybody define what are invertebrates? Yes, on Umema, Iman, Sheikh, everyone please, beta, start writing the definition. What do you know about the invertebrate? Why do we call some animals invertebrates and some animals vertebrates? What is the main difference between both of them?
Miss?
Yes.
Miss, because some animals have without backbone and some animals are with backbone.
Okay. So the animals which do not have backbones, what do we call them? Yes, Shanti? Aiza, unmute yourself and let me know the definition of invertebrates. Animals that, yes, Ayan, don't have backbone are called invertebrates. Yes, right, on. Right. Animals, those who do not have the backbone are called invertebrates. In this picture, some animals are vertebrates and some are invertebrates. So, like this jellyfish, this is invertebrate. Likewise, this worm and some starfish, they are all invertebrates. Here, all the organisms, these are invertebrates because they do not have backbone. Because they do not have the backbone, that's why they are categorized as invertebrates. And all those organisms, all those animals which have backbone, they are called vertebrates. Like in this section, in this part, there are animals which are shown like bird, fish, amphibians, and again the reptile, men, they are all vertebrates because they have vertebral column, they have backbone. Okay, they have backbone as it is shown in the picture that they have backbone, that's why they are called vertebrates. Okay, 151, yes, 151 and 152 we will try to cover. Okay, now let's see, invertebrates are animals that do not have a backbone inside their body. Okay, The major group of invertebrates are worms, insects, spiders, centipede, millipede, etc. Now, vertebrates are animals that have a backbone inside their body. The major groups include fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. So all the vertebrates are classified into 5 different groups according to their characteristics. Yes, crabs are invertebrates. Yes. So major group of vertebrates are fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. We will learn their characteristic and the feature in detail in today's class. And we will learn about the invertebrates like worms, insects, spiders, centipede, millipede, etc. in our next class, in the next week. Now the classification of vertebrates, that how vertebrates are classified. For example, there are 5 different classes: fish, amphibians, fish, all type of fish, then amphibians like toad, frog, and some other amphibians. What are their feature, why they are grouped into this class? Reptiles like lizard, snake, crocodile, alligator, turtle, why they have been classified into this group. Fawawi Y7, please rename yourself. Rename yourself. Rename yourself. Who are you? I don't recognize you. Please, beta, rename yourself. Okay. So, birds, all types of animals which can fly or which have feather or wings, they can fly in the air, and they are categorized in this group, in this class: birds. Then mammals, all those animals which reproduce by giving birth to live young ones, they are categorized, or they are grouped into this class. Now we will learn their features one by one. Okay, first one, vertebrates classification. First one, amphibian. Please pay attention over here. There are so many different characters which are found in these 5 classes. We will learn them one by one. Number 1, amphibians. Thin and humid skin, means their skin is very thin or slippery, and they are, just a minute, why somebody is unmuting himself. Okay, so thin and humid skin means very delicate and humid. Moisture, they have moisture on their skin. Their skin is slippery or moist. Okay, thin and humid skin means very delicate and slippery, silky skin. Transformation throughout their life cycle means when they hatch out from their egg, they are in some other shapes, and later on when they grow, with the passage of time, their shape, they transform, or their shape gets changes. Okay, they change their breathing method, means when they are when they are young ones, or when they hatch out uh, from the egg, they respire or breathe through their gills. They live underwater. The main feature of amphibians is that when they hatch out, they live in water, means they spend dual life. They spend 2 types of life. Partially they live in water, partially they live on land. That's why their breathing skills are different. Their breathing organs are also different. When they are hatched out from their eggs, they respire through gills because they live in water. When they come out from water or on land, when they start spending their yes, Yusera, I will let you know. Just a minute. First, focus on this, whatever I am explaining here. The amphibians, why we call them amphibians? Because they spend dual life. They spend 2 types of life. They live partially in water and partially on land. That's why they are called amphibians. And they have their different breathing organs, like frog, like toads. For example, they have lungs. They respire through lungs when they are on land. When they are in water, they respire through gills. They respire through skin when they are on land. So lungs and skin, they are used as a breathing organs when they spend their life on land. When they are in water, they use gills for breathing purpose. Okay. Next is they are born from eggs. Okay, means amphibians, they lay eggs. They are cold-blooded animals. Yes, cold-blooded animals. Can anybody tell me what are cold-blooded animals? What do you, this is very new term for you, and please let me know what does it mean? Yes, can anybody let me know cold-blooded animals? Cold-blooded animals. Yes. Okay, I will define it in just a minute. Look into the slide. Here there is a definition of cold-blooded animals. Please focus here. Yes, focus here everyone. Hamza, Yusera, better look at here. Cold-blooded animals such as reptiles, fishes and amphibians that cannot control their body temperature and therefore become sluggish in cold weather. Means they cannot regulate their body temperature according to their surrounding temperature, right? However, warm-blooded animals are defined as the animals which can regulate and maintain constant internal body temperature, like us, like human beings. All the mammals, they are warm-blooded. Why? Because during the winter season, when our surrounding temperature is very less, when there is low temperature during the winter season, we feel cold. This is because we regulate our body temperature. We have constant body temperature. We have learned in chapter mass density and temperature that human body has the body temperature 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, 37 or 38 degrees Fahrenheit. This is normal body temperature, and this is constant in all the seasons throughout the year. Means we are warm blooded. We cannot change our body temperature throughout the year. Means if there are summer seasons, then we change our temperature, our body temperature according to outside temperature. During the winter season, we again change our body temperature according to the surrounding temperature. This is not so with our with the mammals or with warm-blooded animals. However, cold-blooded animals, they change their body temperature according to their surrounding temperature, like birds, like reptiles, fish and amphibians. They keep on changing their body temperature according to the different surrounding temperature, right? So let's move to the next previous slide. So why amphibians are cold-blooded? Because during the winter season, they change their body temperature. During the summer season, they adjust their body temperature according to the surrounding temperature. That's why they do not feel hot or cold. They live on water, and they live on the ground and in water. Now fish, they live underwater. They breathe throughout gills, means their breathing organ is are gills. Some of them have scales covering their bodies. All of you must have seen fish, and their body is covered with minute scales-like structure, which are sharp, and they cover their entire bodies. Fins help them to Fins help them to move under the water. Fins help them to swim underwater, and this is their organ for movement. They are cold-blooded animals again, means that's why fish during the winter season, when the water is so cold, they can survive under water due to their body temperature. Cold-blooded animals, due to their cold-blooded, they are cold-blooded animals. They are born from eggs. Again, they lay eggs. They don't give birth to young ones. They lay eggs from which their young babies hatch out. Reptiles, the longest lived species on the planet. Cold-blooded again, cold-blooded animals, body covered with scales or shells. Scales, their body is also covered with scales or shells, and they have their skin is so dry and scaly. You must have seen the fish or alligator, sorry, lizards we have seen in our homes or in our surroundings. We have seen alligators or crocodiles in movies or on television or on internet, that their skin is so dry and so scaly. That's why, because they are cold blooded and they regulate their body temperature, and they have they store water under their skin. Okay, they cannot chew. They, since their teeth are not formed for chewing purpose. Okay, they are born from eggs, means their mother lay eggs, and from the eggs babies are hatched out. They live on the ground or in the water, right? Again, this the property of the reptile is similar with amphibians. Now, first three, amphibians, fish, reptiles, they are cold-blooded animals, means they cannot maintain their constant body temperature. They keep on changing their body temperature according to their surrounding temperature. Sarah, you were asking that, just a minute, what was your question? Yes, Sarah, Miss, do fish and other underwater animals have blood or not? Yes, they have blood, but most of the underwater animals, they are invertebrates and they do not have blood. Rather, they have something, some liquid or fluid which can flow in their body, but fish like human beings or other animals, they do not have blood in the same manner. When they do have blood, but not very similar to it can flow like in human beings or in other mammals. Okay. Next is birds. Body covered with feathers. The property, the prominent feature of the birds is that their body is covered with feathers. They usually have porous, lightweight bones to allow them to fly. How they can fly or rise up in the air? Which property helps them? Because their bones are so light in weight. Yes, Anya, just a minute. Let me complete this. Their bones are so light in weight, and they can fly, which help them. Their pores means holes. Okay, their bones are not solid. Their bones are very light in weight and have minute holes, which help them to rise up or lift up in the air or fly easily in the air. They live flying or on the ground. They have wings to fly. Their mouths are toothless beaks. Their prominent feature is that beaks. Okay, their body is covered with feathers. They have beaks. They fly or also live on ground. They have wings to fly. They are warm-blooded animals. They are born from eggs. Again, they lay eggs, and their babies hatch out from their eggs. They are again warm-blooded, means they maintain their constant body temperature like human beings or like mammals. Next, mammals, they are born alive from the mothers, means their mother gave birth to live young ones. They breathe through lungs. How the mammals we are, since we belong to class mammals, we breathe through our lungs. They live in water, the air, and the ground. Most of the mammals, mostly they live on the ground. Some live in water, some in the air. They have their body covered by fur. We have a very tiny hair on our body that they are called fur. Yes, Hibal. All the amphibians are vertebrate. Amphibians belong to phylum or kingdom vertebrata. Okay, they are vertebrates. All the amphibians, they are vertebrates. Right now, we are learning about the vertebrates, and amphibians are included into this. Okay. So, what are the characteristics of mammals? That all the mammals, they give birth to live young ones. Like we have seen that cat give birth to kittens. Okay, and human beings, they give birth to small infant babies. Likewise, we breathe through our lungs. some live in water, some in the air and in the ground. Our body is covered by fur, very small tiny hair. We do have human beings do have very small tiny hair on our skin, and some animals, some mammals, they have large hairs like cats or dogs. They have their body is completely covered with fur, and we are all warm-blooded. What are we? We are warm-blooded. Birds and mammals both are warm-blooded. So what are warm-blooded animals? Which maintain their body temperature, which regulate their body temperature, which cannot change their body temperature. Their body temperature is constant throughout the year. Until or unless we have fever, then our body temperature rises. Otherwise, we maintain our constant body temperature at 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Got it? If you remember, I believe that everybody has remembered that in chapter mass, density, and temperature. If you have forgotten, please turn the pages to chapter mass, density, and temperature. You can find out on page number 50, I think 50 or 51 in your book, that in which it is shown that the normal body temperature of human beings is 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, it is constant whether it is winter season, whether it is rainy season, whether it is dry or summer season. Right? Got it? Is this concept clear? Okay. Page number 44. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you, Hibal. Okay, now next again the same. I'm repeating warm-blooded and cold-blooded animals. So I think this is pretty much clear. Your concept is pretty much clear about warm and cold-blooded animals. Okay, got it? Is there any problem? Please let me know. Then we will move to the written work. First highlight the important points on page number 153. Please highlight the important points on page number 53 and open your copies as well. Quickly underline these pages. Underline these points. I am going to share your assignment now. Okay, done. We will cover these question answers in our next class. Okay. Please, beta, open your copies. Your index for today is question number 2 and 3. We will try to complete both the Yes, okay, Ayan. Turn off your camera. Yes, man, I'll ask you only those whom I asked to open their camera, please turn on their camera after writing down the index. Okay. Question number 2 and 3. Write down today's date here. Today is 13th January. 13 January 2021. In copy 1, of course, where you have done your question number 1 of this chapter. Please continue your work from the same, in the same copy from the same page if you have a space over there. Yes, okay. Yusara, show me your copy. Write down the index quickly, and I have written the subtitles. Those who haven't written on Monday, please write it down, and those who have written, no need to write it again and again. Yes, there will be homework. I will upload it right after the class. Okay, Yusara, show me your copy, and yes, good. Yes, okay. Start writing the question. Yes, Iman, show me your work, beta. Iman. Yes. Yes, right. Right. Marusha. Marusha, show me your work. Okay. Beta, time is going to be over very soon. We have just 5 minutes. Sorry, 15. We have time. Okay. So what, question number 2, start writing question number 2. What are, if you have a space or just after question number 1, which you have done on Monday, you can start this question after leaving 2-3 lines, or take the new page, or must write down the date on the top of the page from where you are starting your work. Don't forget to write down the date. What are two main groups of living things? What are two main groups of living things? Question mark. What are two main groups of living things? Question mark. Keep on writing. The page is still shown on the. Yes, there was internet issue. Sameen, I am back now. Please continue your work silently. Focus on the screen and start writing the question. Question number 2. What are two main groups of living things? Question mark. What is their main difference? Keep on writing. Yes, better leave one page for question number 3. I will be giving this table in homework today. Hello. Yes. Yes, class. Yes, everyone. Please don't copy question number 3. This I am going to give in homework today. Yes, Iman, don't put on your camera. Iman, stop the video. Yes. When I'll ask you, only then you will on your camera. Okay. Now leave one page for question number 3. This should be done in homework today. Leave one whole page for this question. Okay. Now come on. You haven't done? Okay. Just a minute. Do it now. What are those who haven't copied question number 2? Please copy it now. What are two main groups of living things? Question mark. What is their main difference? Question mark. Okay, now answer. Write down the answer. Who is doing this? Rub it off. There are two main groups of living things are number 1 plant kingdom, number 2 animal kingdom. Plant kingdom and animal kingdom. After writing these two in points, start from the next line. Plants are different from animals in that they are rooted to one place, full stop. Plants are different from animals in that they are rooted to one place, full stop. They can make their own food. They can make their own food. Yes, you Sarah, right? Right, you Sarah. Good. They can make their own food, but animals use, yes, but animals use prepared food. Yes, Hania, right, beta, right. Don't copy question number 3, class. Don't copy question number 3. I will be giving this question number 3 in homework today. Leave one page after writing question number 2 till here. Till here, after completing question number 2, leave whole page for question number 3. This table, it should be drawn in homework. Now, mention question number 4 in the index. Okay. Mention question number 4 in the index. Here, 2, 3, and 4. Mention question number 4 as well. Since we have time, 4-5 minutes, then we will start question number 4. Yes, who is this? Question number 4. Write down the main features of the following. Write down the main features of the following. Then in this way, write down number 1 fish, number 2 birds, number 3 reptiles, number 4 amphibians, number 5 mammals. Done? Have you written the question? Now make first heading fish. Write down in bold letters and underline it as well. Write down in bold letters fish and underline it as well. Okay. So Point number 1 for fish. Fish are cold-blooded. Fish are cold. When we write cold-blooded, write down cold, then put a small dash, then blooded. Fish are cold-blooded, comma. So their body temperature changes. So their body temperature, their THEIR, body temperature, their body. Don't make a spelling mistake in the spelling of temperature, because most of you write the spelling of temperature TEMPRA. They skip E. Must write down the correct spelling. TEMPE, temperature. Okay, temperature. So their body temperature changes according to their ACCORDING, according to their surrounding temperature. Yes. Okay, Adva, good. To their surrounding temperature. Point number 3, they breathe or absorb oxygen through their gills. They breathe or absorb oxygen through their gills. Next point, they have fins and tails to help them swim. They have fins and tails to help them swim. Full stop. Point number 4, most fish reproduce by laying eggs. Most fish reproduce by laying eggs. We are stopping our lesson for today till here. We will write the features or characteristics of birds, reptiles, amphibians, and mammals in our next class on Friday, right? Sorry, tomorrow, on Thursday, tomorrow. Be prepared, be ready for writing down, for completing. This question is a bit lengthy. Be ready for writing down all the characters. We will just have a short recap of the lesson, and then we will start writing the answer of this question. Okay? Okay, class? Is this clear? Okay, just a minute. I am going to show you. There are some reinforcement questions which we will discuss, and I will ask you people on दिलावे इसको बहुत जल्दी है जाने की. We will discuss and I will ask these questions on in tomorrow's class. By the time I am concluding it here. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz, class. Yes, Iman. Okay, Allah Hafiz.